Welcome to TPRA Heritage, where we like to explore some of the most known and unknown historical locations and, especially this episode, of our spooky season series of Haunted Hampshire. Tonight, we're venturing into another of the region's haunted locations, where we will be exploring every corner that we can find, as if we were a visitor. Once we've explored every area we can, the cameras stay behind, locked off and left rolling. So settle in and watch closely. You never know what we might capture. Welcome back, history fans. Today, we're heading to Southampton city centre to uncover the story of the medieval merchant's house, one of the oldest surviving merchant homes in all of England. This remarkable building dates back to around 1290. It was built for John Fortin, a wealthy wine merchant who traded with Bordeaux. Like many merchant houses of the time, it wasn't just a family home. It was also a workplace and shop, all under one roof. The design was practical, a vaulted undercroft for storing wine and goods, a shop that opened straight onto the street, and comfortable living quarters above for the family. Over the centuries, the house saw many changes. By the 1600s, it had been divided into cottages, and in later years, it even became a pub. During World War II, bombing raids in 1940 revealed much of its medieval structure that had been hidden away. Then, in the 1980s, conservationists stepped in. Between 1983 and 1985, they restored the house to reflect how it would have looked in the 13th and 14th centuries. You'll find the house at 58 French Street, once one of Southampton's busiest medieval thoroughfares, right by the town walls. Architecturally, it's a rare treasure, the only building of its type in England to survive substantially as it was first built. The front has a reconstructed medieval shop front, leading back into a great hall. Upstairs, a bedchamber projects over the street, a clever medieval way to grab extra space. And below, the undercroft still remains, just as it was used centuries ago, to keep goods cool and safe. Today, the medieval merchant's house is cared for by English Heritage and welcomes visitors as a museum. It's a Grade 1 listed building and a scheduled monument, ensuring its preservation for generations to come. Inside, vibrant replica furnishings bring the 14th century to life, letting you step back in time and experience medieval urban living. So, if you're ever in Southampton, don't miss this hidden gem, a rare window into the everyday life of England's medieval merchants.
That's a bit cool too. Yes, well I can see that. I can feel it, yeah.
So, and it was wholesale, it was never, and it was only for the rich people. But in medieval times, Southampton had approximately about 60 volts. The little door there was out to the yard.
Is that the one that's covered over
Yes.
in wood now and
Yeah.
padlocked?
They didn't put full doors in because it wasn't necessary. And that's why if you had a full-size 6-foot door or 5-foot door there, you'd be up past the roof. And all the vaults have half the steps inside, half outside, because the front of the building's always projected over. So it saved room having the steps inside. In the Georgian times, they changed the facade like they did. Instead of pulling down the houses, they changed the facade. And that blocked that door off by changing the facade. And then in the 19th century, this was made into a pub. So they had to put it in a unit while they were coming down, getting the barrels. How they got the barrels in, it was a thing called a per bucket, which was in the manual seamanship up until the 40s. And all it is 2 planks down, and then 2 ropes fastened at the top, round the barrel, and men would pull the ropes and the barrels would roll up the planks, and they'd do it in reverse to bring them down. So that's how they got the barrels in, which is quite simple. And by doing that, it's almost like a pulley. You're taking some of the weight.
Weight,
off.
yeah.
You know, barrels they use for all sorts. They would put china in it, or pottery of sorts. And also, when we went to war with France, all the arrows went over in barrels because it's the only safe way they could. They put straw in there, and then they'd put 100 arrows, and they took thousands and thousands of arrows each time we fought the French. I suppose in some ways that was our biggest exploit in the merchants weren't averse, and we've got it in our records, that they would buy a cheaper wine, and then they'd put like pine resin in it to make it change its colour and make it sweeter. If they got caught doing that, they were fined, and they were made to sit outside their premises and drink a gallon. And that they did do that. The wine, if they bought barrels of wine, the agent had the right to stay with it until the porters came and took it away. Because if they turned their back, it wasn't unknown that an inferior barrel would be put in its place. So they'd be buying a barrel of vinegar. Even the walls you see round, you wouldn't have seen individual stones. They point individual stones in them, but it's not the best way for weathering. No. And they would have flush pointed it, and every time the king come down or someone of importance, even the towns or the bargaining, they would quickly lime wash it and make it look nice and clean. And the same here, they would lime wash all this till it kills any bugs and keeps the bugs away.
Yeah.
So So this nasty bit of concrete here, that was when it was a pub. They didn't want people to climb any steps. They wanted it to walk straight in off the road. So the public bar came out to here, and that was what they done. They brought it straight in.
So what was this one?
This same wine vault, but this one had a circular staircase.
Oh wow.
Spiral staircase going to the one about the house above. And it would have been a bit like the one next door. It might have been wood, it might have been stone.
Yeah. Wow. So this is the way that they got in and out.
Yeah, on this vault, yeah, not
Yeah.
on all.
No. Wow.
We've got
Look at that.
several with staircases in, about 3 I think. And at the front it would have had the same sort of stairs as next in there,
Yeah.
you know, with going up. At the quarry, they would get the stone and hack them to about that width. Didn't matter about the length, or that width. And then they'd mark the number on it. And that does 2 things. It saves wastage on site here.
Yeah.
Plus, it saves the stone much. And then you look and say, oh, want a number 3.
And they knew what that was.
And it was already marked. He didn't have to get his rule out.
Wow. Wow. That's
So-
amazing. Yeah, you'd think that was just graffiti, wouldn't you?
No, it's it's done at the quarry where it's, and you wouldn't have seen them once it's done because again, there would have been a film of mortar over that, and then there would have been the lime wash over it.
Yeah. Wow, that is phenomenal.
And if you can squeeze through this way. And here this one had a staircase as well.
Oh wow.
So size door. It was at one time we think either these two cooperated together, or at one time the person rented or owned both vaults. It's not a full-size door. It was at one time we think either these two cooperated together, or at one time the person rented or owned both vaults. And it saves them going up and round and down again.
Yeah.
You know, and on some of our vaults where they're near together, they had a sunken courtyard at the back, so they could, you know, if say these were 2 separate businesses, and I had a customer who wanted 4 barrels of a certain wine, and I only had 3, but he had spare, I wouldn't send the customer to him because he may pinch the customer.
Yeah.
So I'd buy one and just bring it in, and my customer would see the 4 barrels. Any business,
Yeah.
you didn't let your customers go away.
No.
You tried to keep hold of them,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a nice vault.
Now we have walked the attraction, let's head into the haunted Hampshire segment. I've stopped and paused around these places to capture different angles around the area to see if we catch anything unusual. Since these spots are open to the public, I've worked around that as best I can. Let's roll the footage and see if anything spooky shows up. Over the years, this building has been many things: a merchant's home, lodging house, even a pub. Legend holds that in the 19th century, when it was the Bull's Head Inn, a mischievous spirit would blow out candles in the cellar. Staff and guests would wake to find a woman in a dirty dress standing at the foot of the bed, only for her to vanish when alerted. There's also the story of Ruth Dill, said to have worked there in the 1890s. She purportedly supplemented her income by sleeping with sailors lodging there and had a habit of stealing from them. One night, caught in the act, she allegedly struck a man with a fire iron, killing him, then fled, throwing the stolen jewellery down a well. To this day, people say her spectre haunts the house, wandering the corridors, sometimes staring down the old well, or drifting through doorways long since bricked up. Staff and visitors have reported footsteps on the wooden staircase when no one is there. Heavy doors slam shut of their own accord. Sometimes people feel a push from behind, unseen. In one bedroom, a woman's shadowy figure has been seen, floating through a bricked-up doorway. Candles in the cellar have been known to extinguish themselves mysteriously. Though reports vary, some accounts say that technology sometimes fails inside the merchant's house. For example, staff reporting their own laptops failing for no reason. And when inspecting the house, the sound of footsteps across floorboards, especially as the lower levels do not have any floorboards. Candles that should stay lit are blown out without draft. So, did you spot anything? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.